Top of the morning to everybody. It is the Desert Viking coming to you from the desert. Fall is now upon us, and in the desert, fall means absolutely nothing. It'll still be close to 100 degrees today, and it's October. That's okay, though. It's beautiful out here. The flowers bloom. It is truly a crucible. It is truly a crucible to be blessed to be a part of in my life journey. All right, so week 18. A few things you'll notice. Number one, I'm moving away from the microcosm of the days. I think I have graduated beyond counting days since the event that started this whole channel. We've moved into weeks now. So this is week 18. And the theme of this era is rebuild. So I told you in a couple videos ago, I believe it was the Freemasonry video, and I'm going to post a link to that one again. That seemed to have been a very popular video. It was also one of the most disliked videos that I have done. I have a feeling from people who just don't like Freemasonry and were brought in to leave some comments, but that's fine. So I think I want to stick more to that type of theme rather than continue down psychology, sociology, primarily because I don't really think that most of my viewers care too much about that stuff. So I'm happy with moving more down the spiritual pillar. I'll still probably be talking a little bit about the intellectual and the physical pillars because they're important to me, but we're going to explore more of the spiritual pillar. And with week 18, we have rebuild. And as I was alluding to in the Freemasonry video that I had done, after I was cored and I was laid out on the floor with my heart removed, not even broken, removed, I lost my job. And then shortly after that, I ruptured my Achilles. So my physical training had to stop as well. I was in a really bad place a few months ago. Just a really, really bad place. And so that was when I heard that voice kick in and said, it is time for you to rebuild. Clear as day, it is time for you to rebuild. Now, I found along the way that sometimes when we're on our voyage, as it were, that the voyage isn't always leading us to our end state. I don't actually believe there is an end state. I believe you have to constantly be evolving and evaluating and changing as you need to. We call that a growth mindset. We need to make sure that we're adapting to the things around us. But while we're growing, while we're rebuilding, there are times that we're going to have to stop on the journey, not to rebuild, but to tear down. We have to tear down the things that are preventing us from moving forward, whatever those things may be. For me, there are a few things in my life that I'm having to recalibrate, and I knew that. I knew that when day one started. I knew that when I said, okay, this is an opportunity for me to see where I have failed and to make myself better. And to actually look at it with eyes wide open, not going into it blaming other people. Yes, other people are going to be held or are held accountable for their actions. We don't live in vacuums, and it's not entirely on me, and it's not entirely on you. But at the same token, there are things that you can own, and that's part of a rebuilding. And that was part of why I wanted to identify where did I fail. And in part of that journey on the boat, the metaphor I've been using, the boat, was to reach those places to tear them down. Because you can't build over rotten foundation. So we want to tear those down. But let me talk about another form of being tore down. There are going to be people on your path who are not going to want to see you rebuild. They are going to want to tear you down. They're going to be very vocal about wanting to tear you down. They're going to trivialize the things you've gone through. You're going to hear things like, what you're talking about is irrelevant. There are worse things going on in the world, and you're here crying about this. Well, that, my friends, that is therapy 101. You never do that. You can never adopt that mindset, that scoreboard mindset where there's always someone else in a worse position, so don't complain. That's actually not very healthy at all. Everyone exists in their own environment and is receiving negative and positive feedback around them and has to respond to it. So just because I'm not involved in a bloody war right now does not trivialize the things that I've gone through. And the same with you. Okay? Anyone who dismisses you is not there for you. Anyone who would be dismissive of you is there only to spout words to try to tear you down, to bring you down to their level. And you have to liken them to the wind bouncing off of a fortress wall. You can't put too much stock into that. There will be people who will go silent on you. There will be people who will turn their back on you. They don't want to hear about it. We live in a world in Western culture where we're told we need to be open with how we're dealing with things, but yet when we are open with how we're dealing with things, people don't want to hear about it and will shame you for it. It's very confusing. However, find the steel in your backbone to continue moving forward. That's all you can do. Move forward. Not to the side. Don't try to avoid your problems. Don't try to hide from those people's criticisms. You just have to move forward. When they call you pathetic, cool. Cool story. Thanks for sharing. Move forward. That's all you can do. That is it. So keep that in mind. For those of you who want to share your stories, for those of you who have shared comments in past sections talking about how they want to do videos like this, sharing their own personal stories, please do. Because what you are is a lantern in the dark. You are highlighting and illuminating a path that others may need. And in today's world, that is probably one of the most crucial things you could do. All right. So that's a little bit about tearing down. Tear down the old stuff. That's important. But when other people try to tear you down, cool story, move on. Today I'm celebrating on week 18. I'm kind of dressed up. Actually, this is also for work, but I'm going to use it as an excuse to celebrate. Today I actually got to wear a pair of pants I wouldn't have been able to wear since I was 19 years old. So the work that I've been putting into myself day in, day out, 18 weeks later is starting to show, is starting to reflect. And that makes me feel good. That putting in that effort is starting to show and pay off. And I know at week 18, I still got a long way to go. Because like I said in a Physical Pillar video a while back, it takes about 1.5 to 2 years of solidly working out to get to the point where I want to be. But every journey begins with its first step, and I've been 18 weeks in, adhering to a clean diet and making sure that I'm in that gym pushing that iron up, and I'm on that street running. And I was able to run my first 3 miles over the weekend after rupturing my Achilles. So that is also another win. Because you only have one direction. It's got to be forward. You cannot, all these things coming at you right now, all these tests coming at you, people walking out of your life, people abandoning you, losing your job, your body breaking down. Those are all tests. Those are all tests to see, can you do it? Do you really want what you're saying you want? Because a lot of us, myself included, will say we want a lot of things, but are we willing to put in the work to get it? Are we willing to go through the pain to get it? Are we willing to sacrifice to get it? So every time you encounter something like that, every time someone walks out in your life, every time you lose your job, every time something bad happens to you, say good, say thank you. This is an opportunity for me to adjust myself and to become better. Rebuild. Part of that's rebuilding your whole mindset. Now, with the Freemasonry thing, and again, I'm not talking about anything that is secret or not supposed to be said, mainly because I don't know anything that's secret or that shouldn't be said because I'm just a petitioner, and that will not change for the rest of the year. I attend a program where they basically vet you out to make sure that you're a good person. But I'm not young. I'm an academic. I've studied religions and spirituality and whatnot for all my life. So there are things that you can that they talk about in public that you can talk about here. And part of that, it's rebuild. You're rebuilding the temple, so to speak. Now, I don't get religious on my channels. I don't like to get religious in my life in general because there are two things that divide people more than anything in this world. Religion is the first one, and politics is the second one. Unfortunately, as we're seeing, the Holy Lands have erupted into war yet again over religion, among other things. But I am, and I try to be a good person, a good man, and identify my spiritual needs. And I do recognize a creator. And that's one of the tenets of Freemasonry. You have to acknowledge that there is a creator. Now, what that creator is, I couldn't tell you. I know enough in my life to know that I don't know anything. I don't profess to be an expert on anything. I don't profess to be an all-knowing person who has all the answers. I don't. I don't have all the answers. Not even close. And as such, as such, to understand that I don't know everything means that there are things that exist in our reality that I don't know about, that I have to be open towards. I don't know what the creator is. That's beyond, I think, most human understanding, and I think most people would acknowledge that at some level. What I believe is that the truth has been spread out across the globe, and that each of us, in the pyramid or the gem metaphor that I love so much, this gem represents the reality of the world and has many faces, and each face represents a truth. And that there are many faces scattered throughout the world, and that people, depending on where you're born, will pick up the piece in the area they were born and cling to it and say, this is the truth. This facet is the truth. The other facets are a lie. And I don't buy that. I think until we can come together and understand that the truth is scattered throughout the world, and until we unify, we will continue to cycle through this hopeless regurgitation that we've been in for likely tens of thousands of years. I think that we're at an end of an era right now. Another one. I think we're at the end of the turning, as they say, and that the wheel is about to begin again. That's what I believe. But part of rebuilding is to expose that, to talk about that, to rebuild that temple within, to acknowledge the Creator, to rebuild that temple within, to fortify yourself from within, so that we can better house the truth. And there are people who will be violently against what that is. And maybe I'm not even speaking the truth. Maybe I'm, as they will say, I am deceived because I don't believe in the one facet. And who's to say that that's right or wrong? I can't because I don't have all the answers. I only know the things that make sense to me. I think a lot of slag that the Freemasons take is simply because they don't adhere to one of the facets, and that multiple faiths participate in the brotherhood. And I think that makes people mad. I think that makes people mad because I think people want everyone to believe like they do. But we can't. because the world's a very big place and has been seeded with bits of the truth spread throughout. And that's what I do, is I journey to try to uncover those seeds for myself and to grow and to explore those and to rebuild my temple, as it were. Your journey may be different. Your journey is likely different. I find that in this life, I have not met very many people like me. In fact, I would say that when I enter a lodge is the first time that I'm encountering people like me on such a scale, because I can normally go years without finding someone like me. And that's why it's so hard for me to be around people, because it's hard to be around people that aren't like you. And I get it. So when you know the people saying my facet is the only way, I kind of understand. To be around people that aren't like you, you feel like an outsider. You feel like a misfit. You feel like you're doing something wrong. And I don't think any of that's true. That's the only thing that keeps me moving. Like today, I continue moving forward because I know that there's nothing wrong with me in how I think or how I act or how I do. It's that I'm in the wrong time, or I feel like I've been born in the wrong time or amongst the wrong people. But maybe I'm not. Maybe I have been born exactly where I need to be for a reason. I don't know. Maybe that reason's to explore and to find different facets and to encourage others to share their truth, to help become lights in the darkness. Because we need that. We need to see each other's temples be built. We need to recognize each other's truths, as it were, to help ourselves grow. So what I would like is to hear your thoughts. This is something that's weighed on me over the weekend. Maybe this isn't very profound to you. It's kind of random gibberish, just a mind dump into the YouTube, saying this is what I feel today. But I'd like to get more of a grasp of where you are. I'd like to hear your stories. I'd like, if you have channels, if you have content, I'd like to see what that is. I'd like to explore and understand more people who follow a similar path to me, because I just don't see it very often, and I'm kind of tired of listening about Taylor Swift and what's his face from the Chiefs or what other inane news articles are blasted on today. I don't care about. There's a lot more important things. And I think that we're at the end of a turning, as it were, and I think that we're about to enter a new era. And as we go into this new era, I would like to be fortified, and I would like to be in a position of strength versus weakness. So let me know your thoughts. Until next time, cheers, and we'll talk to you soon.